I played football too. So my sophomore year, I was nose guard, so like right in front of the ball. For those of you that know football, quarterback snap, and I caught a good sack on him, and I was on him all game. Like I was on him all game, and I remember hearing somebody from the stand like, "Yo, like whose kid is that? Whose kid is number 68?" This hit home. Then I remember because not basketball, football. Like, yo, whose kid is that? Quiet. You know how it is. Like, nobody was out there. Like, I never told my siblings to come. It was just like, yo, everybody was busy and I was doing my thing. I had my friends. That's what I needed. So it got quiet and everybody looking around. And then somebody get up and like, yo, that's my kid.
To another edition of Talk That Talk podcast, the home of the podcast where washed up athletes and current athletes get to take a walk down memory lane and tell us how sports has helped impact their careers. Today we got a special guest in the building, somebody that's crafty with words. He's an educator, and he's just really helping withhold the light and within the board education system in the Bronx. Rashan Brown, how you doing, bro?
You, what's up, brody? Gucci, I'm good right now. Yeah, how you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So we gonna start here. Are you a wash the ball player? Or do you still got game?
Nah, I still got it, bro. Still got it. Definitely still got it.
All right, we're gonna start right here. We got King of the Court. I'm gonna give you 3 matchups, and real quick, I just want you to tell me why this person would win. All right? Magic versus LeBron.
You said Magic versus LeBron?
Yeah.
Tough. That's tough. I'm not gonna front. It's gonna be. I'm a little biased because I said I wasn't gonna do this, but when it comes to LeBron, I think he's a little overrated. Even though that's a crazy statement to say, so I'm gonna go Magic, just because from what I've seen, I feel like if it's King of the Court, it'll be easy for him to get around. That's how I feel like because of his size and he's crafty. He's a little crafty than LeBron. But I think if Magic starts first, he'll be good. If not, then it might be LeBron. But that's my take, though.
So you got Magic.
I'm going Magic.
Okay. Kobe versus T-Mac.
Oh, Kobe, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You already. I'm big Kobe. So
listen, we gonna touch that. I already know.
Yeah, I'm big on Kobe. But yeah, definitely Kobe.
All right, AI versus Steve Francis.
Ooh, I'm going AI.
Okay.
AI.
That's my Steve Francis used to get busy though.
He did.
AI gonna make it work.
Grew up on AI. Come on, you gotta go AI for that one.
That's a fact. So you played ball at Mount St. Michael while you were in high school. You played for 3 years. Walk me through your favorite career, moment while you were in high school when you were playing ball.
I can give you 2. I'll say 2 favorites, even though the first one is a bad one. So, I came out of 8th grade. I was playing ball in my middle school. MVP, all league. So I'm in high school now. I'm thinking I'm about to just come in and run the game, run the court. And I actually didn't make it my first year. So my freshman year, I got cut. Crazy too. Like I thought, I did what I did, and the coach picked who he picked, whatever. So it was funny because when I got cut, I was so ball is life. I remember asking my mom, like, yo, I got to transfer schools. Like, I'm like, yo, huh?
I got to play.
Yo, I was like, yo, I got to, like, I'm like, yo, everybody is waiting on me to make the team. And, I actually got cut. And it was crazy. It was tough for me because I never been on that, like, yo, you're not good enough. So I'm telling her, like, yo, I got to switch schools. And she's like, yo, you're crazy. Like, I'm not about to take you out of this good school, like, just to go play basketball. So that kind of turns me into my favorite. So now my sophomore year, I was so energized and just like so angry and just so like ready to play. So like that tryout for my sophomore year, I remember I went mad hard, like really just trying to prove to everybody like, yo, I should have been on the team freshman year. And now y'all gonna know, like, I don't care who's here, like I don't care whoever, if you already have your team, like I just want to be on the team. And I did my thing. So exactly. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna solidify this. And like I don't care what nobody say, like I'm starting, like y'all gonna see it. So for me that was like a big turning point because I went from like, yo, I gotta leave, and I was able to turn all that animosity to, fuel for me to make that next year's team. So that was big for me. Like that sophomore year was very big.
Tell me about your best and your worst game best and worst asset to your game in high school?
Okay. I want to say that I wasn't the best on the clock player, and for people that play ball like yourself, like they'll know what that means. So recreational ball in the gym at the park, like I'm your guy. Like I can compete. I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing everything I need to do. But on the clock, for some reason, I never played to my full potential. And it was over a few things. Like I would be nervous. I would psych myself out of it. You know, you miss a shot and, you know, it's like, yo, I missed the shot. I let it go.
Mm-hmm.
It would just get in my head like, damn, I missed a shot. Like, I missed a shot. They take a fast break and now they scored. It's like, damn, yo, I just gave them 2 points. So I would always.
When you play ball, you can't do that. You can't miss the shot.
Do it.
You can't not get back.
You can't. So for me, it's like, damn, like it was killing me and it was a killer for me. So I struggled with that all through high school, really. But when I was on the team, my biggest asset to it was like being the leader, like holding my team down, not only on the court but off the court. Like, you know, high school, I was very mature for my age, I feel like. So even when we went on road trips or like when we had tournaments, like coach would put me to the side, like, yo, listen, you know, I need you to get the team to be focused up. Even when I was starting, when I wasn't starting, like I always took that role of like that captain mentality to be like, yo, we got to focus up, like enough playing around. We need to be in bed at a certain time during tournaments, and just like, you know, just having that like leadership mindset, especially in practice, pushing everybody, defending whatever the team needed in terms of that. Like, you know, we come to practice and bros are kind of like, yo, we just gonna go through the motions. Like, nah, I was on it 24/7. Like, you can ask any of my teammates, like, hard work, dedication. I used to really yell at during practice. And it was funny because like I was always so extreme during practice. Like my
Tell me what
intensity
extreme is. Explain to me what extreme is.
So like I'm talking about yelling, punching walls, and like getting people's face, like everything you needed. Like I was there with it, talking smack. Even on the court, like not backing down from anybody, letting them know like, yo, he's a good prospect. Like, yo, he's averaging 20 plus, whatever it is. But now we're gonna go out there and do our thing. Like we're gonna get our boards. We're gonna make free throws. We're gonna make shots. We're gonna make the tough ones. So it was a little bit on and off the court. But as much as the court I had, I preferred highlighting my off the court because I think that transitioned me well just in life, regular, like just naturally.
Yeah, we're definitely going to touch on that real soon. But a lot of people that speak highly of you, first thing I hear is leadership. So it's crazy that you say that. Not crazy, but that it's authentic. It's true.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a big part because when you learn how to be a part of the team, regardless of what your position is, you're always going. There's always going to be a slot where you got to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that definitely obviously helps you now as you know transition to being an educator as well. So I would say that's real dope. What were your favorite ball kicks to rock when you were playing ball?
Oh, favorite ball kicks. My favorite ball kick ever were the Kobe Milk Snakes. I don't remember the number, but it was like the white sole,
Right.
the red, low tops. It was like it had like that milk, like that snake skin cover over. That was it for me. Like that was my favorite. And it's funny because I had ankle problems throughout my whole career, but I love playing with those Kobe's.
Okay, I could never get with the low. It never felt safe for me.
It didn't, but I felt so crafty like in them because they were like so light. I think they were like, it came out like, yo, these are one of the lightest sneakers ever or something like that.
Kobe was one of the ones that really started that trend.
Exactly. And it's funny, I never wore an ankle brace. I was just like, yo, I'm going to just double up on the socks and we're going to make it work. But if not those, definitely the hyper dunks. The hyper dunks, it used to be like the yearly hyper dunks, like the 2010, 2011. Like I used to get like a crazy, I had like this bright orange color. I always wore like the brightest sneakers when I was in high school.
What were the color on the school colors for St. Michael's?
It was yellow and blue. So like gold and blue, you know how they do.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So usually when you know, when it comes to the basketball games, you have a lot of parents that are in the crowd going crazy. You know, you got the one parent that's willing to run onto the court and risk it all for their child. You know, when you were growing up, explain to me, you know, the impact in maybe the absence of like what your father how that role really affected you, you know, because, you know, sometimes for kids, just having their father or their mother in the crowd, that's just all the confidence they need. So break
Right.
down for me how the absence of your father really affected you.
I would say it started like middle school, really, because I played. First time I picked up a ball and like really played organized basketball was like in fifth grade, and I don't know what it was, to be honest, but when I think back, like as you're asking that question and I think back to it, I don't even think like it phased me at the time. Like I really thought about it because I was so, I don't know. I think my mother did a great job, obviously, of raising me and
That's off the moms.
being a single parent. But like I knew she was busy. Like simple cut, like father not being there, living home with mom. I got two older brothers and one older sister, so obviously they played that father figure. We'll get into that. But like in terms of the basketball court, I really never looked to my parents. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember a game where I was like, damn, I wish my pops was in the stands. Like I honestly don't. And that could be for a few reasons. That could just be because I was so like,
Locked in.
unfazed by it. You know what I'm saying? It's like out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. And I knew my mom had work. You know what I'm saying? Like I would never tell my mom, yo, please come to my game to miss work. Like, nah, I fully understood, like, yo, she has to do her thing. And obviously I had the support of other parents from my teammates, that were big, like, that would come, pick me up, take me to the games. We used to win games, used to buy me Gatorade. So definitely shout out to all my close friends that their parents held it down for me. But I don't think, even in high school too, like I don't even think it really phased me to that point. Actually, it was one time, not in basketball, during football, when I felt it. And I think this is when, for that day, I would say that I did feel like, damn, like I never experienced this. And it was, I'll tell you a story, it was during football. I played football too. So my sophomore year, I was nose guard, so like right in front of the ball. For those of you that know football, quarterback snap, and I caught a good sack on him, and I was on him all game. Like I was on him all game, and I remember hearing somebody from the stand like, "Yo, like whose kid is that? Whose kid is number 68?" This hit home. Then I remember, because not basketball, football. Like, yo, whose kid is that? Quiet. You know how it is. Like nobody was out there. Like I never told my siblings to come. It was just like, yo, everybody was busy and I was doing my thing. I had my friends, that's what I needed. So it got quiet and everybody looking around. And then somebody get up and like, yo, that's my kid. Like I don't know him, but I claim him. That's me.
Oh, word?
Bro. So
What
then another parent popped up. It's just parents of my, like just random Mount St. Michael parents. You know what I'm saying?
Showing love.
Somebody else showing love. Somebody else popped like, nah, that's my kid. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, yo, they really rocking with me. And I remember hearing it and I'm like pointing to them in the, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, damn, like, so this is what it, like, this is what it feels like. So when you mentioned it, like, never had that experience in basketball, but for that game, I definitely do think like it was something that I never experienced, never ever in my life. So I didn't even know how to react to it. I didn't know that was a thing, that you could have that much support at a game, and after the game run to family and run to pops or whoever and like really experience that. So for me, it was just like, yo, as long as I had my friends and my coaches, like I was good for the most part.
Yeah, those that really don't know what it takes to run a team, those that have been a part of a team, like you literally just broke down the epitome of what a real team is.
Yeah.
The moms, the dads that pick you up, take you to practice, the moms and the dads that are willing to make that claim for that kid, and they knew your situation.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? They gravitated, they already knew to fill in that slot. And I think that speaks volumes. And that even with what you were saying, like when you're so locked into what you're doing, and
right.
also as a kid just being innocent and being naive, you just think that your situation is the norm.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And you just, I'm not speaking for you, but it's what you're saying to me.
No, it is.
To it. You know what I'm saying?
Really, really and truly, that's what it is.
I was just speaking about that now, just you feeling that and playing that back in your mind, that just comes to volumes of what it really means to have a whole team. You know what I'm saying? Because that moment could have been completely different for you. That feeling you were getting when you're looking up and nobody's going to stand up, and then somebody did. So that whole situation.
It was like, whoa. It was like, whoa. It was like, yo,
with me.
they rocking with me like, yo, somebody is like they paying attention, and that was a great feeling for that.
And that's a
That day.
great confidence booster for you as well too, as you continue to go and play sports as well. So now, what type of things do you think would be different that you'd want to do if your father really was hands on in your life?
I mean, damn, we could. It goes a long list. I mean, even on the basketball end, one of the things that I always think back to, like, again, I didn't start playing organized basketball till fifth grade.
Mhm.
I had like broke my two fingers during I think sixth grade, so I didn't play that year. And I look back to my career. So again, I always feel like, yo, there's tiers of basketball, right? So obviously never picture myself playing D1, right? But if you put me in a room with dudes who really hoop, that's really in school, as I've been before, like I could compete. That's
I
where
go
it's at.
home.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ball. I'm not food. I'm doing anything you need me to do. I'm getting my buckets. I'm getting mine. That's just natural mentality. But I do think back to, okay, if I did have this figure, would he be there to take me to practice? Or maybe I would have started earlier, right? Maybe I would have did AAU, right? I never did AAU during the summer. I never
Just
did
like me, bro.
anything.
Just like me.
Saying never did anything. I was always like my only opportunity was school.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't school, I would be at the park with my friends. So I wasn't doing drills. I was just playing hardcore 3-on-3 pickup, like call your own foul. So
Oh, that go.
you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So I think that obviously it definitely would have played a role in just my basketball football career. Like I had quit. It's funny. I quit football like 2-3 times actually. My freshman year, they put me on O line,
Okay.
and I wasn't feeling it.
You big enough
was
for O-line?
I was big. When I was real. I used to be real like chubby and fat, like real
Oh,
big.
okay, okay.
Yeah, and I was tall, but like I should have been if I would have like I was a center. I had a center's body, but I wasn't that tall as a center, like in
Yeah, that's what
basketball
I'm
terms.
saying. Were you big
You
enough
know what
for
I'm
O-line?
saying?
Because they big.
Yeah, they big. And in my freshman year, like I was big and I was strong. I wasn't that big, but I was really strong. So they put me on O line. I wasn't that fast, and I told coach, I'm like, yo, like I never played football before,
I'm
so
feeling that.
I'm not feeling this. Like I'm not about to block. Like I'm not doing that. So he told me like, yo, just try it out. Try it out. I'm like, all right, played another game. I'm like, yo, it's over. So I came back sophomore year, then I played on the D line. Whole different game where I'm
It's a
just
different
tackling
vibe.
people now. I'm with it. And I quit football after that year. I never went back because I was so focused on basketball. Now I think that if I would have played football, I'd have definitely got a scholarship to play football in college. Easily,
Think
easily. If
so?
it wasn't easily, if it wasn't like a big D1, I would have got it. I would have definitely got it because I was good. You know what I'm saying? I understood the game, and I only started in high school. You know what I'm saying? My coaches even now tell me like, yo, you should have just kept playing football. And I was like, yo, you're right. Like, but I was so focused on ball. So I think maybe if I had that figure, he would have been able to see my potential. Like, yo, I know you want to do this, but you either got to do both or we're just gonna lock in with football because in my mind, when I have a son, I'm trying to make sure if I don't have to pay for his school, if I can get him to a good school through sports, like let's do it. So I think that's how it could have impacted me in the sports realm. I don't know if you want to leave it there or just talk general, but
Outside of it too.
definitely for that. Outside of it, now it's funny because
Because this is what I want.
yeah, so I don't think so. Those who know me growing up, I don't think I was ever a bad kid. I think that I understood it at an early age, like to just show you the mindset of how I was living. I never smoked. I've never drank in my life. And obviously during high school, that's what the kids are doing, even through college. Like you know how it is. Like, but I was in rooms. I was in rooms where dudes were doing their thing,
Just one touch it.
events doing their thing, and I never ever like, yo, maybe I should. And dudes would be like, yo, hey, peer pressure, you know how that go. And I shut that down quick. I think that dudes respected who I was, and whether it was respect or fear, like, yo, let me not even bother him. So I never really had to do much of that. So when you ask me like, yo, how could my life have been different if I had my father in my life? To be honest, I don't know because like I said, I had two older brothers who were great father figures, like my protectors. anytime I needed something, like they were there. So I feel like in his absence, they stepped up. So when somebody was to say like, "Yo, how could you?" Like, "Yo, I got good grades." Like, obviously I wasn't the top. I wasn't top one, but I got good grades. I stayed out of trouble. I was on the street, playing with friends, but I never did anything that was like, yo, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like something that could have put me in jail or something that was crazy. I was just doing like regular kid stuff. So to be honest, I don't know. Again, I guess that goes back to what you were saying before. Like I was numb to it,
Mm-hmm.
not even really thinking about it. I think now when I look back and I see how families are set up that have the two parent household, I do think that
Really different.
my life my life generally would have been different, right? I
Just
can
now
kind of tell.
you're aware of it
Yeah,
now.
I'm aware of it. Now I'm aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I 100% think it would have been different. I think I would have been a better space. Maybe I wouldn't have even been living where I was living. You know what I'm saying? But to pinpoint something is tough because, as tough as growing up was, my mom did a great job. My siblings did a great job. And of course, I'm the youngest. So I'm 100% sure what I'm saying now would be completely different if you ask my sister or my brothers,
Oh yeah.
right? Because you know what I'm saying. Because for me, it's like, yeah, I'm looking up to them, and
They know what's going on.
they know, you know what I'm saying. Like, so they're, don't do this, don't do that. Come with me. I'm seeing them do that. Like, like, never had to deal with like no gang issues, nothing like that. Like, of course, siblings were involved in it. Like, you know what I'm saying. That was a part of the lifestyle, but I think I was so protected that I didn't really get to see a lot of the crazy, crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So when you break down a situation to me like that, um, and I'm pretty you want to have kids of your own, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. How does this make you think? Like, what makes you feel, or how does your situation really make you think about when you have children? Like, what are you gonna make sure that you're gonna do that you didn't get?
Great question, bro. I be thinking about this all the time. Um,
You can take
I,
your
I
time.
act,
It's a loaded
yeah,
question.
yeah. This is low. This is. It's so many parts here. So
Mhm.
I actually asked one of my pro fights, um, um, my bro Kareem, and he grew up areas in where we grew up. Tough living, and now he lives further up Westchester. Nice little, nice crib, new row. And I asked him. I said, "Yo, like, don't you want your kids to grow up like where you grew up, so they can understand how to live life and like go through your struggles?" And he was like, "Nah." He was like, "You know what? They're gonna have their own struggles, and it may not be walking outside and seeing, little crack pipes on the floor and needles and drugs and all that crazy stuff that growing up you would see in the hood." He was like, "That's not gonna be a part of their struggles, but he knows that they're gonna have their own set of struggles, and he's gonna do his best to try and get them to understand that." And when he told me that, I was like, damn, that kind of changed my whole mentality, because for me, like, I wanted my kid to grow up in my same crib, like
Mhm.
same block, and go through exactly what I went through, because again, I'm looking at myself like I turned out well. So I want to try and emulate all of the things that I've experienced and recreate it so that they can go through it. So for me, knowing that, I'm kind of in this like bounce back and forth. Like, yo, am I gonna send my kids to a great immaculate school where they have no issues and they never have to really defend themselves, or am I gonna send my kid to a school where like I went to, where the expectation was set high, but kids were still doing their thing, right? Whether you got into a fight or somebody tried to run down on you, you ever got caught up in a situation where somebody's patting down your pockets, like all those crazy stories in the hood. Like, I want my kids to experience that. So I do go back and forth a lot, because I think it built me to be who I am today. But definitely being there with my kid, I think that I'm gonna have a bit of a better understanding of how to raise a child when I'm older. Obviously, I want to be my son's life, my daughter's life. Um, I want to have a wife, or I want to have like that American dream, like that family mindset. I don't anticipate trying to raise a kid on my own, or not being a part of my kid's life. I definitely do want to be there, because, like you said before, I'm aware of everything now. Like, I understand when you need some money and mom's is working hard trying to put food on the table for her three kids, And it's like, damn, like, four kids, it's like, damn, like, I can't really even ask mom for $20 for the week because
You don't got
she
it.
don't got it. She don't got it. Like, I want my son to be able to know. My son is, I keep saying son, my son to that.
No, that's good.
My kid to know, like, listen, like, I got it. You gonna have to work for it, but we got it. That's what I want. I want that man. I want that mindset because I don't know. I don't really know how my mom felt, obviously, because I'm not in her position. But I know how it felt when I was in my position,
Exactly.
and I just need. I just want a bacon and cheese for lunch, and like I'll be good. Like that's really all I want. And it's tough, so you gotta hustle. But again, so the fact that I couldn't, because I could not do that, I found ways to hustle. And I want my kid to be able to do that. And I'm afraid that if he doesn't have that experience, his hustle may be different. And I'm not even thinking about the positive. I just keep thinking about the negative. Like, damn, maybe my son not gonna know how to really work for it, or my daughter not gonna really know how to get out there and make it of her own. So I'm going back and forth, but I know I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna try to be as supportive as possible.
Yeah, I think you really pointed out some good things there, and I think one thing I think you have to recognize is that because you know how it feels not to have, you're gonna make sure that he does or she does have, right? That's one. Two, you embody everything that you want your kids to have and more. So they're gonna have that hustle. They have to.
Mm-hmm.
If they're willing to put the work in, because me and you both know I could put you in a situation, but you still got to do that for yourself, right? So that doesn't matter who we are. You know what I'm saying? So when you say that, I think that when it comes that time, bro, I think you're gonna be fine. It's just went through that. You went through that for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And you move the way you move for everything that's happening in your life for that exact reason.
Right.
So I don't think you're gonna have any issue, passing that down because that's authentic to who you are.
Yeah, that's just, and it's just plain in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, be this, because you know what it feels like when you don't have it.
You do exactly, and
that is
as
big.
long as you could tap into that, there's no issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
good point.
You brought up a little bit earlier how how much your siblings played a big role in your life. Older brothers were there for you, your sister was there for you, and it's to my understanding that you have a nephew that that you're very fond of as well too.
Nephew, 2 nieces, facts. Mm-hmm.
So not even to say that you're in like the father type situation, but does that make you more protective, being that they're a part of you now too? Because like anything happens to them, that's on you. So how does it feel being like the uncle?
It's big, 100%. It's like I said, I got nephew and 2 nieces. So my niece and my nephew, Elijah, Samantha, I see more frequently than the other niece, Maya, because they're around, right? So they live with my brother and his girlfriend. And it's funny you mention that because not too long ago, I know we're gonna probably get into it, but I wrote a poem
definitely going to
about them. And it's funny, in the poem, it's so simple. There's something I was thinking about, but so when I walk with them, in my mindset, as a gentleman, you always want to make sure that you're on the outside.
Yeah, they're on the inside.
The woman on the inside, right? So all this time, I'm walking with them, and I want them to be on the outside. And I'm walking, but Elijah's the oldest. And every now and again, I put him on the outside.
Okay.
And I'm in the middle, and Samantha's on the left. Usually that's sometimes how you walk. And I kind of just want to, I'm slowly just trying to build him up to understand, like, yo, that's your job.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm not here, like, yo, you got to be her protector when I'm not there.
Right.
And the whole concept of it was like these mean machines. And the mean machine is just a car, right? Because, we all see how car accidents, how easy it can happen when a kid runs out or, whatever the case may be. And I never want him to forget that he has to be that older, that protector for her. Obviously, they're going to protect herself, but, we're in a traditional mindset. So for me, like, yo, you're the oldest.
Hold it down.
This is on you. Hold it down. So every now and again, I put him on the outskirts just for him to get a feel of it. I'm sure he doesn't know what's going on, but
he does because when you're not there, he's just gonna do it.
Exactly. And so you're right. Let me take that back. You're right. The mindset, and that's what I'm trying to build on him. So 100%. Anytime I'm with them, I'm very like, in that mindset. And it's funny you mention that. I'm always like, yo, I just need to make sure that they are safe. And when I first started taking them places, and it'll be simple, like taking them to their food. Now we do whatever, right? Movies, the parks. I take them anywhere, right? But when I was first doing it, I was a little nervous. I'm like, damn, like, I'm like, yo, this is
Okay, feel like
me.
a
Like,
dad.
I'm like, yo, if I don't take them back, if I don't get them back home, like,
It's the issue.
like this is big. So I'm always on top of them, and it's and especially because I'm an educator too. So Samantha's brilliant, so smart, and as brilliant as Elijah is, he likes to play around a lot. So I'm always in that teacher mindset. Anytime I see him, I'm like, no, talk like this, write like this, like make sure you're in class. I need good grades, and I'm always on top of him because I know, I know how it is. Like he's definitely that kid in the class that's giving the teacher trouble, just because like he gets it, but he just gonna play around. So it's funny you mentioned that, but yeah, I'm definitely. I think it's definitely giving me some practice of how I should be raising, things that I should do. I'm kind of getting a feel for it of walking, making sure they're in my sight, they're in my view, and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's real crazy too, because you, like you were just saying, you don't really feel it until you're in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you take them to the park, and then you don't see her for like 2 minutes. You like, oh,
Like, whoa,
like,
whoa.
oh.
You're like, damn, hold on. Yeah,
Not
bro.
even, I mean, you know that that's your niece, but in your mind, you're like, yo, I have to bring her back
Right.
safely. You know what I'm saying? So I
The
mean,
world is crazy.
yeah,
how
very.
it is. The world is
We both
crazy.
know that, and that's good that your instincts is even there anyway, because you got some that's not even really focusing like that anyway. But before we get into the poetry, you're a Bronx native, but you were born in Wisconsin. How do we get to Wisconsin?
Yeah, man. Big dub. I always do this when people mention Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, and it's crazy because this is kind of we going back now, and I actually put this in one of my poems. Real like undercover. My close friends who know me, they know what it is. It's not really talked about a lot. I actually don't mention it a lot, but my father back in the day used to sell drugs,
Right.
and I myself am not even 100% sure of the whole situation,
Right.
but in my mind, how it goes down is like, yo, the Bronx was, it was hot, right? So my parents are from Jamaica, but we lived in the Bronx, and the Bronx was hot, right? He was doing his thing in Wisconsin, whatever that was, and at that point, he had got locked up when we was in Wisconsin, and so it was just, my mom, we doing our thing, and I was born there, and I lived there for like 6 months, 6, 7 months, and then we moved back. Yeah, so I was like, it was funny because I didn't really, again, you had to know me to know I was in Wisconsin, to know I lived in, you have to really be close to me, you know what I'm saying? And when I tell people, they're like, where are you from Wisconsin? They try to like throw me all like, oh, you like cheese and you know this? I'm like, nah, I do like cheese. Yeah. But like, I was just born there. I lived there for 6 months and then I moved to Jamaica with my grandma for a year and just change. And then I came to the Bronx. So I think that Wisconsin has definitely shaped who I am, even as little as I've been there. So that's why I always will represent anybody who knows. I never like even my students. I'm like, yo, listen, I say that I'm born and raised in the Bronx sometimes, but y'all should know that I was born in Wisconsin. And then we kind of get into a little bit, and then like, whoa, wow, like they don't even really know about Wisconsin, so it's not a big thing. But yeah, so that's what happened. I was there for a little bit, right? I think that's where the finesse was at the time. And I was there with my parents were living there for a little bit, and then like I said, I was born, lived there for a little bit, and then I moved out, went to Jamaica, then I moved to the Bronx, and I've been in the Bronx ever since. I was actually in my crib for 20 plus years, whatever it was, and now I'm living somewhere else, still in the Bronx though. So.
What part of Jamaica your family from?
Kingston.
Oh, you're from Kingston, okay.
Yeah.
My grandparents is from Mandeville and Kingston, so I already know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now we get to the point where you're starting to put the pen to the paper. You know what I'm saying? You see that you got some words, you crafty with it, the wordplay. What's your definition of poetry?
Yo, it's crazy. I know I keep saying that, but every time you asking some great questions, bro, because like I reflect so much, and
Tell you, bro, I'm here.
You know, you some great questions because these are taking like points, and I remember a long time ago. She probably even remember this. One of my closest, my best friends that I've known since I was little, Jessica. I never considered myself a poet, and a lot of people don't even know that. Because I felt like I was doing it wrong. Like no one has ever sat me down and said, "Hey, this is how you do poetry." I just kind of put words together, and when I'm up on stage, I acted. I'm into it. So spoken word. So I can now separate the two, and I think that I only like to do spoken word because when I think about poetry, I think about like format. And even though there's a free verse, I feel like poetry is just an expression of emotions. It's that simple as that. I'd rather tell you about, instead of saying I'm feeling down, I'll say something like, yo, my mood is like the sky, or something like that. And I feel like when I do that, like it just makes more sense to me. Like, the sun rises, the sun sets, and like right now I'm not really feeling it. So that's kind of like how those metaphors and those similes, that's kind of like how I put it together. And for me, it's really just an expression. Like I do a way better job of expressing myself through poetry than for me to actually have a conversation with somebody and be like, yo, here's how I'm feeling. Like, just listen to this poem and you can get it. Like, this is better for me. So now obviously I'm working on that communication, but for me, poetry is that. So I was telling my friend, like, yo, I'm not a poet. Like, I just kind of put words together and they sound good. And she was like, no, like you need to really own it. And this was years ago, like years ago. But I'll never forget this. And it wasn't until that point that I considered myself a poet. And I would tell people like, yo,
Confident.
I do poetry, like that. Like, oh, what? Like, yeah, I do poetry. And here are some of my pieces. Here's some whatever I do. So yeah, that's how I would define poetry.
I definitely feel you 100% on that. And I think also too, son, you gotta recognize it's like, even though your style may be unorthodox, and like you're saying, like you rather just go with the spoken word, through the way you're delivering it, that's
Right.
what's gonna make people feel it.
Exactly.
Words
Right
are
there.
words on a paper, but the way you push that, the way you give off those words, is gonna hit different.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the spoken word for me.
Me and you can say the same thing, but it hit two different ways.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
yeah, so I mean that's all in poetry. You know
Right.
what I mean?
That's
So
it right there.
yeah.
Especially.
Who inspired you to start writing?
Inspire me. Joshua Bennett is this dude, this poet from I think he went to UPenn. I actually don't. I've never met him. I don't know much about him, to be very honest with you. But I started writing poetry due to like a breakup in high school. Man, real like really real stupid.
It works.
Real cliche. Right. I'm actually close. Like it's all love between me and her. And like all parties that were involved, like it's really all love. So it's just like, whatever. Well, we're not on that time, but it's, it is what it is. So at the time I was just like, yo, I'm down and out, regular cliche. And I wrote a poem. I put it up on YouTube. Like, I don't even know where it's at right now. I think I took it off a minute ago, but I can't even find it. And then after that, I entered into this competition in my bio class in ninth grade. I came in like second place. Real like just jumping out and doing stuff. Like it was on like just playing around with it. Literally, just like, yo, I'm gonna just let it fly. And so I would say I stumbled upon his video. Joshua Bennett, he performed at the White House for President Barack Obama, and it was this video, and he's talking about his sister and how she's deaf. And the whole concept of it was he's never taken the time to learn sign language. And in the poem, he's doing sign language. So he's getting his words, and he's like doing sign language. And I'm like, yo, that's fine. This is it,
Tamara has never listened to hip hop, never danced to the rhythm of raindrops or fallen asleep to a chorus of chirping crickets. She has been deaf for as long as I've been alive. And ever since the day I first turned 5, my father has said, Joshua, nothing is wrong with Tamara. God just makes some people different. And at that moment, Those 9 letters felt like hammers, swung gracefully by unholy hands to shatter my stained glass innocence into shards that can never be pieced back together or do anything more than sever the ties between my sister and I. I waited, was patient numberless years, anticipating the second her ears would open like lotuses and allow my sunlight senses to seep into her insides, make her remember all of those conversations we must have had in heaven back when God handpicked us to be sibling souls centuries ago. I still remember her 20th birthday. Readily recall my awestruck 11-year-old eyes as I watch deaf men and women of all ages dance in unison to the vibrations of speakers booming so loud that I imagine angels chastising us for disturbing their worship with such beautiful blasphemy. Until you have seen a deaf girl dance, you know nothing of passion. There was a barricade between us that I never took the time to destroy. Never for even a moment thought to pick up a book and look up the sign for sister, for family, for goodbye. I will see you again someday. Remember the face of your little brother. It is only now I see that I was never willing to put in the extra effort to love her properly. So as the only person in my family who is not fluent in sign language, I've decided to take this time to apologize to Mara. I am sorry for my silence, but true love knows no frequency. And so I will use these hands to speak volumes that can never be contained within the boundaries of sound waves. I will shout at the top of my fingertips until digits dance and relay these mental messages directly to your soul. I know that there is no poem that can make up for all the time we have lost. So please, if you can, just listen. Thank you.
You know, and it's funny, like I say this, like growing up in the hood, when we see hand movements, we think like gang signs and like, you know, people stacking these sets.
That's the first thing that you're gonna think.
That's what it is. And again, I was never in a gang. I never did that, but I was so fascinated by it. Like anybody, I think anybody is really like it's any hand movements, even like anime. I don't know if you know if you watch anime, but like even like Naruto, I'm a big Naruto fan, and like when they when they're doing their ninja jutsu and all that stuff, like they're doing hand movements. So I was so intrigued by it. So I'm watching this video and he's doing the sign language, and the concept of it was like recognizing how important it was to keep the communication between him and his sister, and he's doing sign language. And that video paired with battle rap. You know, I'm in the battle rap scene too. So Loaded versus Calico. Mm-hmm. So I remember in high school learning Loaded all 3 verses, even though he messed him on the first on the first one, all his verses. So with those 2 videos, it was so inspirational that I'm like, yo, I gotta like this. I'm in it. Like I want to be this. Like I want to deliver like you said. I want to deliver like how they're delivering, and it makes me feel good when I write something and I could deliver it how they're delivering it. So I always, I take points from them. I really watch them, and it's funny because I don't really watch any other videos except for that video for Joshua Bennett. Like I actually don't even like watching poetry. It's so, I guess it's silly, but sometimes poetry doesn't really, I can't connect with it, and so I kind of stick to what I like, and I just I just play those videos over and over.
I mean, that's the one that got you started. So I mean, I'm not
right
by any means. What's your favorite poem if you have one? Because I know your poetry, it's kind of like music.
Yeah.
It depends on how you feel. So if you can, tell me your favorite poem if you could choose one.
My favorite poem might be one that I most recently did. It's called I Am Black. Definitely 2. I got 2 favorites now I think about it. It's Future Waiting and I Am Black. And I'll tell you why. I Am Black is it's my most recent, like I said, it's a longer poem, and it's me taking into account my identities. And I want to say, like, through my experiences, whether education, living life as a Black man, I think I'm fully in the identity of owning in, like, yo, I am Black. And throughout the poem, I'm addressing situations, and I start off, and I'll do like I got like a little piece that I'll tell you that I'll say. And in the beginning of it, I call out to one of my friends, and in the poem, every now and again, I call out to one of my friends. So it's like a response.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the poem, I'm like, yo, Biz. Like, yeah, you met Biz before. I'm like, yo, Biz. Like, what is Black? And I'm like, yo, Black is beautiful, right? And I'm going through it. And then I'm calling out, and there's a line in it when I'm like, so yo, we ain't looking for handouts, but they're trying to crucify us like we got our hands out.
Yeah.
Black skin, face down, that's palms up, or man up, because law enforcement still shooting, yelling hands up, but we got a man down. The daily disappearance of our sun in the horizon, that's the sundown. And at that point, I'm like, yo, Seg. And he like, yo, they gonna get this work. Who gonna get this work? And I'm like, they gonna get this work. Why? Because mom and dad can't even afford to bury their son now. So when I play that back, I'm like, yo, as a black man, as black people living in today's society, like the people that understand things, like, yo, we're not looking for handouts. We don't want nobody to do anything for us.
That's the last thing I want from you is a handout.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but y'all trying to crucify us like we got our hands out. Like, you know, I'm a Christian, so in my mind, I'm like, yo, like I'm on a cross. Like, y'all trying to crucify us like we got our hands out. That's not the case, you know. And I'm like, you know, law enforcement still shooting, yelling hands up, but we got a man down. Like, throughout these days, y'all like literally killing us.
Yeah, literally.
And this is literally happening in society. Like, and I'm like, the daily disappearance of our sun in the horizon, that's a play on metaphor. And for me, it's like, yo, these our sons, right? All these black sons that are living in the world are disappearing, right? They are vanishing. They're being murdered, being attacked, scrutinized, all of this stuff. And he's down. Like, this is a man down. We need help. Like, we this is a cry for help. And that plays into it because our sun, when it disappears in the horizon, it's called the sundown. Mm-hmm. So it's like that double, like, boom, that double whammy. And that part for me is so strong because I'm like, yo, and the only people that are going to get that work or that are going to be at a loss are mom and dad, because they can't even afford to, like, funerals are very expensive. I don't even think people understand that.
No, very.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo.
A casket is easily 10 bands.
Easy.
Just to put the body in the casket is
in the casket. Bands. You know what I'm saying? And even to, like, yo, it's cheaper to cremate. Like, yo, that's not even really a thing for certain people.
It's not.
They're not into that at all. So it's like, yo, who gonna get this work? And that goes back to the Loaded video, because if you watch the video, Loaded's like, yo, he gonna get this work. He gonna get this work. So that's me paying homage to Loaded. Mm-hmm. So and I'm always doing that with one of my friends. So he's there, Seg, my boy Young Prince, and I'm like, yo, who gonna get this work? He's like, I'm like, yo, Seg, that's all first verse, because for me, that was off the, like, it was natural when I wrote that. So I'm telling him, I'm like, yo, that's Seg, that's all first verse. And he's like, who gonna get this work? Who gonna get this work? And I'm like, mom and dad, because they can't even afford to bury their son. And that for me was like, whoa. It was like, yo, like, that hit hard. And and as I keep going to give you the next part, I'm like, hold on, time out. As my moon waxes and wanes, never have I felt a stronger bond with my identities until now. I am young, I am strong, I am a man, but most importantly, I am black. But I still feel like the token boy in any professional setting when the shades of those around me are nothing darker than the khakis in which I had on. So it's like, yo, like, in my professional world, I don't get to interact with that many people that look like me. And I still feel like that token boy, like, yo, I am black, I'm strong, but in certain situations, I still get that feeling.
Yeah.
Yo, Biz!
Who are you?
I am black.
State the obvious.
And black is beautiful. Every bit of our body glistens on. We shine bright. So why is it that y'all fear us? How could such a loving representation pose such a threat? Can you answer that? Truth be told, the ones who need to hear it the most are no longer alive to hear lies. But if y'all care to share, y'all feel them right beside them. Besides, who needs a rebuttal when it is on? Y'all lied, y'all took, and y'all beat us until we lost all confidence. Felt disastrous, truly a degrading lack of self-esteem, and a complete 360 that had me questioning recycling my first sentence backwards. Beautiful is black. Yo, and black am I? Does this not sound like a disgusting case of second guessing? While it's 2020 and our oppressors use the Constitution as a lethal weapon, but nah, y'all said time will heal everything. Well, since that's false, let's make another amendment. Because all this time has gone by, but it looks as if the black folk keep settling. Without settlements or reparations for our history, man, we ain't looking for handouts. But y'all trying to crucify us up, we got our hands out. Black skin face down, that's palms up or hands up. Cause law enforcement still shooting, yelling, man up. But we got a man down. The daily disappearance of our sons on the horizon, that's our sundown. Sad, that's all first verse, all first verse.
Who gonna get this word?
They gon' get this word.
Who gonna get this word?
They gon' get this word.
Bro, run that shit back, bro.
I said, man, we ain't looking for handouts. But y'all trying to crucify us up, we got our hands out. Black skin face down, that's palms up. And boy, I know it's hard for you to man up. Cause law enforcement still shooting, yelling hands up. But we got a man down. The daily disappearance of our sons in the horizon, that's a sundown. And they gon' get this word. Why? Cause mom and dad can't even afford to bury their son now. As my moon waxes and wanes, never have I felt a stronger bond with my identities until now. I am young, I am strong, I am a man, but most importantly, I am black.
Yes, sir.
But I still feel like the token But I still feel like the token boy in any situation when the shades of those around me are nothing darker than the khakis in which I had on. At first, the feathers are featherweighted, but over time these feathers flock together and become burdensome. But we are free, so we should fly. Yo, we should be praised and honored for simply roaming in this world. It was us who built this. The women in our lives handpicked by Eve, or Mother Mary herself, who would stay still love. It's every little black and brown child who represents compassion, fortitude, and mercy. I am fearful because I am black, and I understand the hatred this world has to bring, and the implicit malicious microaggressions snuck into casual conversations. I am fearful.
Talk to him, bro.
When that first traffic stop, when we let authorities decide that they will be put on a temporary leave with pay while we be made an example that our older brothers and sisters are left with you. Please hug your black people tight. Because tomorrow is never promised. We ain't really targets that been chastised without thank yous and kiss goodbyes. But look how we left for garbage. This is nothing.
So what do you want?
I just want our children to be happy. The tears of my ancestors run flawless through this black skin. These invisible scars stained in the soil of my blood, they itch. I mean, yo, let's stop pretending. Do you care for our well-being? Can you see it? Cause if not, that's a flaw of vision or tunnel privilege. Open your eyes to our demise. You're the only one celebrating, hell of a surprise. But in the words of Joshua Bennett, God just makes some people different. So I am black. And black is beautiful.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't. I mean, I usually write in my bed.
Okay.
You know, my couch
That's
if I'm
your
laying
spot.
down. That's my spot. My bed and my couch, laying down in the dark, usually in the dark, with music bumping.
Okay, I was just about to say music.
Yeah, 100%. I'm always, anybody who knows me, I'm always in music. I got speakers in every part of my room, shower included. I always got to bump my music. And there's certain songs that I listen to that gets me in that like writer's mentality. So definitely I was in the house right now.
And then now I kind of feel like that leans towards, one of the greatest players that ever played the game. You know what I'm saying? One of your idols, Kobe Bean Bryant. Obviously, we lost him this year. But I think a lot of people are jumping on the Kobe wave. They like the Mamba mentality. Do you have it? And do you know what it really takes? But I think Kobe really stood out to a lot of people, like what we were talking about because of the things he did off the court. Right? Who he was on the court, a lot of people didn't like.
Right.
Who he was off the court is really what people really gravitating to him. So my first question to you is, do you have the Mamba mentality?
1,000%. I will hope that he's looking at me now like with some like confirmation, like yeah, he got it. And I look at the Mamba mentality. I mean, of course, everybody has their own definition, and he's giving out his definition and what it means. But I just look at it like going hard, being your best self, and being as passionate and as intense as you have to be and as you can be into what you're doing. And I would say that people that know me, that's how I am. Like, I think passionate would describe me the most, whether that's me just showing you love as a friend or me doing whatever I'm doing to the best of my ability. And, that even plays into like the alpha world, right? To the best of our ability, right? So I feel for me, 100%. I think that's the right where that's what I identify with. 100, definitely.
Why Kobe? Why is he your favorite? Like, what makes him what makes him stand out to you? Because there's a lot of greats in the game, and me and you both know a lot of analysts, a lot of people like to talk rings.
Right.
If we talking rings, we talking Bill Russell.
Right.
Right.
True.
If you want to be real.
True. I think, man, Kobe started. Me and Kobe go way back. So, like, me and Kobe go way back. But I don't know. Ever since I could remember, it was always Kobe. I think it was like you said. It was on the court and off the court, and I took into who he was as a person too. And one of my biggest things was how he spoke. I thought Kobe spoke so well.
Eloquent.
So well. Like, he spoke with conviction, and that was big for me. Even how I articulate my words now, and growing up, what I looked at as like, yo, this is the man. Like, he is the man. And I loved his game. You know what I'm saying? He could shoot. He could do it all. You know what I'm saying? I tried to make my game like his. You know, as unsuccessful as I was, but like, yo, that was the go-to. Like, yo, Kobe shoots this way, so I gotta shoot this way. Like, yo, he's going around the back this way. He's doing that. Yo, he's wearing his jersey like this, so I gotta do it. And for me, it was always like, yo, this is the person who it was like a natural gravitation almost. Like, I loved his game. I always say that every time he shot the ball, I thought it was going in.
That's
like
right.
that.
It looked like it was going in. Even
when it wasn't. Like, yo, I thought it was going in. So I don't know. It was like it goes back to like the paper ball. Anytime you got a paper ball, you throw it in the guard. It was like Kobe. And
I'm not gonna lie, that's the truth. That
followed me. It followed me.
No other player's name that you're saying, and you're lying if you can't. You're not even saying Jordan.
Not even that's what I think. Like,
no,
as great as Jordan
Kobe.
is,
and I'm not even.
Kobe.
That's not even my favorite at all. But that's a fact for sure.
Kobe, 100%. Kobe, 100%. Just going back to like, I think I wanted to be like him so much, and I actually wrote a poem about him recently too, and kept me out. I was like, yo, Kobe kept me out the streets, and like I wasn't even a street kid really, but I was so focused on being Kobe that I didn't even realize I spent most of my time in the gym, so I couldn't even afford to be out in the streets really. Like, I was just in the gym like Kobe, 2K, NBA Live, and I'm realizing that, yo, this was my inspiration because, as we mentioned before, basketball has always been a part of my life. It has always been something that I'm into, that I'm dedicating legit time to. And even though I'm not playing for a team, I'm always competitive. Like, I never walk on a court like, yo, I'm about to lose.
No,
so that goes into my Mamba mentality. Like, yo, I'm going to do everything to win to my fullest potential. And if I don't, then at least I know that I gave it my all. Like, as cliche it is, but like, that is the life we live. You know what I'm saying?
Something that I'm not sure that if we pick up on as Black men, you walk into school, it's literally your first day. Mr. Brown speaks to the kids for the first time. And the young Black boys are looking at you, waiting for your words. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You look just like them. You got the same haircut, because sometimes you like to hit us with the half moon. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How Kobe spoke. I think sometimes we have the mentality. I mean, we like to use slang. It's the way that we connect. Right. But when I look at Mr. Brown and he looks just like me, but he speaks so clearly, that's like, oh, he has to teach me how to do that too. And I think that that's what really puts our young Black men and women in a different category, when they understand, like, not having the intellect, that's it.
Right.
Like, you got to be able to say what's good and be able to walk into the room too. You know what I'm saying? 100%.
As just like that, literally. That takes you to a story too. My like, I'm in my third year now. You know, I'm teaching in the South Bronx.
Hey, congrats on that, bro. That went fast.
Yeah, bro. It's about to be 3 years done and for my fourth. So thank you, I appreciate that. And whenever I get those kids in my class, especially the boys, even the girls too. I mean, I used to say the boys, everybody. And they hear how I speak. You know, I'm coming in and suited up. You know, whether it's a shirt and tie, slacks, or actual suit jacket, you know, I mix it up. And there's two things that they just don't understand. So I can come in one day with a suit, next day I'm in Jordan. So that's one thing where they cannot put a finger on it. They don't understand it. Like, yo, you look like you going to church, and you know what I'm saying? Because they don't.
They don't know.
They don't know better.
They don't know.
They don't know. They have never seen a black man, or they've never had a black man in a power of position, right?
Exactly.
I'm that power in that
Yeah.
room. They've never seen that. And for me, it's like, yo, we have to wear suits. Like, this is life right now. You know what I'm saying? A suit, everybody gotta have a little, gotta have fun. You know what I'm saying? It's the life that we live. And they hear how I speak, and it bothered me the first time when they said it, and I didn't understand it. But as I'm an older teacher now, I'm saying older than third year, but they're like, yo, Mister, why you always sound white? Like you trying to be somebody you not. And now I laugh. I'm like, I get it now. Like, at first I did not get it. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? And I kind of just like, yo, you're chatting right now. And now I break it down. I'm like, yo, how many black teachers have you had? So they like, damn, I think maybe one. I'm like, okay, well, how did he speak? I mean, he talked regular, like he ain't talk like you. And I'm like, yo, you think I sound white? I'm like, well, how many white teachers have you had? Oh, well, all of them. And you and them sound alike. And I'm like, it's not white. We're just articulating. We're just speaking clearly. Like I'm using my words. I'm not using slang. Like, this is time of instruction. Like, this is what where we need to be at.
Yeah.
We can't always use slang, right? You walk into certain rooms and you should figure out that here is how we should present ourselves. Exactly. And they're like, wow, like, yo, I ain't really ever like understand that. I ain't ever think about it like that. And they're like, yo, but you be talking slang one day and then you start talking white the next day. And I'm like, nah, it's just natural because me and you the same person. I'm like, yo, we grew up 15 minutes apart. Like, ain't nothing changed. Like, and I'm like, yo, I'm young. And they don't really know how old I am, but they can tell I'm young.
Oh yeah, they know your body for sure.
For 100%. 100%. And they're like, yo, like, I tell them, I'm like, I'm black and I'm not that much older than you. So y'all could and I give them 5 minutes. I said, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes and I'm gonna say something. I want you to think about it. I'm like, yo, I'm black, I'm a man, and I'm not that much older than you. So then I asked him, like, okay, what do you take from that? And a kid will raise his hand like, you know who A Boogie is? And I'm like, yes.
Absolutely.
Right? They're like, yo, you know this song? I'm like, yeah. You know who Pop Smoke is? R.I.P. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm like, yo, here, look at my playlist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, like, yo, you the bro. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm your teacher, and we're gonna do science. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, wow, like that's big for them because they have never been put in a situation where a black man understands the struggle. And I tell them, I'm like, yo, like, I understand when your phone gets cut off and you can't do anything until you're on Wi-Fi. They're like, oh, like, yo, my phone cut off right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm like, yo, I don't live an hour away. I live around the corner. I can be here in 10 minutes. I'm like, yo, I know about all this gang stuff. Like, once you're relatable to them, you know what I'm saying? And they see it, but it comes full circle. But being a presentable black young man in my role is so
important. So important.
It's very important. Very important. Yeah, 1,000%.
All right, we're gonna dive right back to that in a minute. Let's finish Kobe real quick. I just need you to tell me how you could feel so close to Kobe and you didn't even know.
Right. I think because I dedicate a lot of who I am and what I've done because of the things that I saw from him. So people were like, yo, you never met Kobe. Like, why? Because for me, like, when I grew up, it was Kobe. I did so much stuff to be like Kobe on the court. And if you know me, basketball ran my life up until college.
So how could I not be cool like Kobe?
So how could I, like, yo, I'm devoting, like, yo, I'm thanking him for making sure I'm not on the streets, that I'm at basketball practice. Making sure that I'm not, because I used to use this as my scapegoat. They'd be like, yo, you're not trying to drink? Like, nah, bro, I got practice tomorrow. And they like, oh, nah.
He's dedicated.
Chill. He got a game in a little bit. He can't even be doing that. And I dedicate all of that because I'm in my mind, like, when I was on the court, I thought I was Kobe. Like, yo, I'm Kobe right now. And it's as silly as it sounds, like I dedicate so much to basketball, and my coach, like my old coach, Mr. Berry, I'll mention him all the time. Like having him and being him, having him as my coach, even as one of my best friends, even until now, like my fifth grade, sixth grade, and eighth grade teacher, also my coach when I was in school, and just a friend who had supported me when I was in college. Having him and Kobe was like, yo, I can't do that because if Mr. Berry find out, like he's gonna be mad, and I don't want him to be mad at me. Like having that mindset, and I even have that now. Like my dean, where it's him, my older sister, older brother, like always. So I dedicate a lot of who I am to basketball, and my basketball in that basketball world, Kobe is at the top. So everything that I'm dedicating stems from basketball, and because Kobe is there, Kobe gets all the grace from me.
That's fair, 100. Now
Yeah.
to wrap the Kobe part up, your favorite matchup with Kobe versus who?
Ooh, that's tough.
You know,
That's real
before you
tough.
tell me, I'm gonna tell you a clip that I saw a couple of days ago. I saw a clip of Melo and Kobe
I was gonna say the same thing.
trying to kill each
I was
other,
gonna
bro.
say the
Like
same
I'm talking
thing.
about, like you know how a coach will tell you, like position yourself, get the position.
Yeah.
The way that they were fighting each other, like bro, you're not even getting the ball yet.
Not even
And they
getting
going
it.
at it. I'm talking elbow and elbow, and they at the end. It's like 2 seconds left. They're like, yo, you wilding me up.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's a
to that,
fact. I was definitely gonna mention that, and I'm after Kobe, like Melo's in my top 5 of like favorites. Maybe
all
my
time.
top 3, to be honest. In terms of favoritism, Melo, 100%.
Melo's top 3?
I love watching Melo play. I think that like, and I'm not even talking about like who's the best. I'm talking about like who I would love to watch play the game of basketball. It's Melo. I think even now that I'm older, like I feel like I be playing my game like Melo, because Melo is like he's really a 3, but he can play the 4. He has like that big, strong body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He has that body, but I definitely would go Melo and Kobe off of that clip alone. Like back when he was on the Nuggets, like really going at it. And you know how Melo is. Melo gonna get his bucket.
Oh yeah.
Regardless.
Oh yeah.
Regardless.
Oh yeah.
And Kobe had that numb mentality. And Melo had it too. Like, yo, I'm gonna get mine. Like, that's what I do best. Like, you can't stop me. So them going at each other is definitely probably one of the best offensive matchups you could find, really. If you talking about Kobe versus somebody. It's not him then Paul Pierce, but I'm gonna go Melo.
Oh, okay.
Paul Pierce tough too. Yeah, Paul Pierce tough too.
Nah, he definitely was the truth for a fact. I can't even. Paul Pierce hit so many game-winning shots. People that really watch ball, bro, it's like if you made things rough for LeBron.
He did.
I'm talking about like a 5 to 7 year stretch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I have to 100% give it to Paul Pierce. Like he definitely was about that life. Now, when we come to like in terms of like personal growth within yourself, what are some things that you feel like you're working on to just make yourself better as a person?
It sounds like funny. I think it would sound funny, or maybe I should a better word here, but I do a lot of things now because I want to be a go-to person for my family, and not only my immediate family, like mom, siblings, but like my future family, so like my wife and kids. So I took up like cooking. Like my mom is a great cook.
I see.
Feel me? My mom's a great cook. My sister, great cook, chefing. Back when she was in Jamaica, had her own little thing going on, and people be like, yo, why you be like, you just started cooking all of a sudden? I'm like, yo, I think about it now. Like, I want to bring something to the table. Like, I know I'm going to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very confident in that. Whether it is, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be Gucci. I know for a fact. But let's add some stuff on. So, I could cook. I know how to clean. So, cook and clean. Like, I'm not into, like, the traditional, I'm going to work and my wife is going to cook and clean. Like, no, I want a partner, and I'm very clear about that now. I think as I'm getting to know myself, like I'm not gonna be sitting here paying all the bills and allow you to like do your thing with the kids. Like, nah, we're gonna do this 50-50. I'm looking for a partner, and I'm cooking heavy now. Like, you know, just trying new dishes and staying in touch with like my Jamaican cultural side. Because like I said, I'm living alone now, so I don't got moms to be playing the reggae old tunes and, chefing it up on Sunday. Like, nah, I can do that now myself. So like little stuff like that, just making sure that, I went and got my master's, right? So I'm looking into like getting my doctorate now as well. So personally, we talking about personal growth, just trying to keep going. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was a first generation student. My sister and I graduated from the same school. You know what I'm saying? She's doing her thing now. I'm doing my thing. So I have little, little journeys that I'm on now. But I definitely do think that like, yo, the sky's the limit. I have peers like yourself, older people that I'm looking up to now, my LBs, my fraternity brothers, and I see that what they're doing, and you know how it is. It's not competition, but like, yo, he just got a new job with this person, or yo, he just got his MBA. It's like, damn, like you in a room, next thing you know, everybody got their masters, and it's not like your peer person is doing it, but like, yo, you wanted it too, but now this is just more inspiration for you to go out there and get it. So, when in terms of my personal growth, like that's where I'm at with it. Like I try any new skill that I can pick up, that I could grab it real quick and see how it works for me. I'm into it because I know when I'm in the future, I want my kids to look up and be like, nah, like yo, my dad can do that, or yo, my husband can do that. Like that's for me. Like that's who I want to be as a man when I grow up.
That's a fact. You got to be well rounded as an individual, and like you said,
Simple.
It's always good to bring something to the table because as humans, we always want something from each other.
Exactly.
Just a second ago, you touched on your frat brothers, and a brother that's close to you by the name of Samuel Dean. He told me that
Oh yeah.
you and your LBs are one of his biggest accomplishments at Alpha. How does that make you feel?
Yo, man, Sam, like yo, you know how it is, bro. Sam is like one of my, and it's funny because he's my ADP, because he brought me into the frat. I would never like, and it's funny because we never talk about like best friends. Like I think as men, we shy from the term of like best friends, but like
I'm
I
going.
look at
I'll do it.
yo, like I'm always like, yo, that's my bro. But it's funny because when I mention Sam, I'm always like, yo, that's my bro. Like, yo, that's my bro, and I try to like get that to people for them to understand, because I think the term bro is so used so frequently
It's
now.
very
Like,
loosely.
I have like 2 older brothers, but I have many bros. But yo, I mean, I love Sam. I think Sam has given me hope in like so many different ways. Like the thing about Sam, in which I'm not like this at all. Like I'm at times I think I could be aggressive to my friends and like be on them about certain things. Sam is like not carefree, but
He's
he's
nonchalant.
he's nonchalant. It's like yo, he's not gonna let you slack in no way, shape, or form, like at all. I remember a story when I was interested into the organization. I'm like, yo, I had a little 3.3 GPA, try to think I was cool. He like, it ain't really a 4.0 though. And he like, yo, get a 4.0, come talk to me. And I tried my best to get that 4.0. I tried my, now I'm not gonna say I tried my best, I didn't get it, but I ended up getting a 3.3, and he like, yo, that's good work. He was like, yo, that showed that you were steady and like you knew how to maintain it. And I'm like, whoa. Like, yo, he just flipped the script on me, like, damn, like, yo, that's a great way to put it. So through like, he started his business, which is big. Like he was somebody that I knew that had a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear about these stories, but it's rare that you have somebody that you can see it. So as you know, he was doing his thing, making good bread, and then he stopped, started, got his MBA, and now he started his own business. So like when I got my job, I sat with him like, yo, here's my package that they offered me. I have no idea what it says. And I went to his crib and he was like, yo, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and here's why. And now, like, yo, I'm good. Like, any financial advice that I need, like, he's my go-to person, as maybe you too, but, like, yo, he's helped me on so many ways. I can go to him for anything. He's opened up his crib to me whenever I'm out there. I go to check him. It's love, it's as much love as you can think about. Granted, we do have all these, pockets of people that we can, confide in, all these things. Like, yo, he's somebody that I definitely look up to and who's always going to be there for me. And I know it, like, it's always love. It's never like, I don't think I've ever had an issue with him, like, since that I can know. Sometimes somebody might do something that might rub you the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, nah, yo, it's literally always been love. He showed me so much different things. He's put me on to so many things, and like it's it's I'm definitely grateful to have him, have him in my corner.
Yeah, that definitely speaks to the importance of having like a mentor. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Oh yeah, mentor. Yeah, I forgot. It's funny I didn't even use that word, but yeah, definitely one of my mentors.
I think just as black men, is like you said, it's one thing to know that somebody's doing something, but when you see him and you can physically reach to him,
Right.
bro, I need help with this, or Mr. Whoever so and so, can you help me do this? And the fact that you can really do that, it shows you that I'm confident I can actually do this now.
Right.
So I think mentorship for us is really, really pivotal because it gives you all the confidence that you need to transition into whatever role or whatever goals you want.
Right.
So since we're on mentors, you're a mentor / educator.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you feel any pressure that you're in charge of somebody's children's education?
I do every now and again. I actually don't think about it too often. Funny enough, because I'm in that position. But my biggest issue, I think, in terms of pressure is like, yo, man, if you spend a day with these kids, you'll see how much they're lacking in terms of education. Like really low reading levels, low understanding. They all have, some of them have individual plans that help them advance their careers in education. But you'll see like, yo, they don't know how to live life, and they don't understand the dangers that life presents them with. Just being a kid and being a black kid or being a big kid. And I had my first year, one of my students would always walk around pants sagging, hoodie on, big afro, and like a bigger than me. And I told him, I was like, yo, you can't walk certain places like this. And he was like, yo, what you mean, Mr. Brown? Like, yo, what you mean, Mr. Like, and I'm like, you are an intimidating person. And we live in a world where when other people feel intimidated, they get aggressive. And you're younger, you look older than you are. Like you are a little kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't really understand me. And I'm like, yo, have you ever been walking somewhere and somebody crossed the street to avoid you? He was like, damn, yeah, it happened all the time. And I'm like, yeah, because you are a 6'3", 180, 200, whatever, however much he was, like, hoodie on, like, yo, you're intimidating. And not to say that he can't do that, but like, yo, where you are right now, living in this world, living in where you're living, you got to know when to flip it. I'm like, yo, when you walk in stores, people are going to look at you and they're going to stare you down just because, right? Just because you're black. And I told him, like, yo, that's, other people have that privilege of living their life how they want, and we gotta fix it up a little bit, just until we get to a certain point. And for me, it's like, if I'm teaching science, when do I have those conversations with those kids? So, and it's not like there's 20 of me, there's 20 black dudes that are teaching these kids. Like, nah, I'm one of 2 of their black teachers. You know what I'm saying? And I go into every day like, yo, should I teach this kid science, or should I teach these kids how to survive in this world? Because I know what they're missing. So that's the only pressure that I feel, like, legit. Like, yo, do we have to learn about cells, or are we gonna learn about how to stay out of a jail cell? Like, simple as that. And it's like, damn, like, every day, man, I got my plans, but it's like, once the convo switches, it's like, yo, I got 15 minutes. Yo, let's talk about last summer, what you was doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You stay away from this, stay away from that. Don't do this, don't do that. You could do this, stuff like that. So that's the pressure that I feel as an educator and a mentor.
I definitely see how that could be super tough. And that puts you in that position where you don't never want to hear or see any of your students on the news.
Never.
In your class, God forbid, I hope that's never really happened so far, but that just shows, because like you're a part of their life.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? They at times spend more time with you than they do the actual parents. Sometimes.
I'm telling you, parents, well, you know how it is. My parents are working all day, all night, and then, yo, they in school and they with you. Like, you are that person that they're looking at. So it's big. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I just try to just be thankful that I'm there, and I try to do what I can. I try to do what I can in order to get them to understand as much as they can.
As we wrap up with these last couple points, what are you giving your current students that Rashan needed as you were in junior high school yourself?
I needed to see that next level. And like I said, I had a great 8th grade teacher. He was he's a white man though.
Okay.
Right? He's a great love. And when I was that age, I never looked at white people like, yo, y'all are doing this in the world. Like I feel like I didn't know about any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had a black woman as my 8th grade teacher as well, but I never got into like, yo, you're black, so we have like black things in common. I never did that. But I think for my students, like I mentioned before, I'm a young black man who I'm in that route. You know, as successful as I am, I'm still trying to be more successful. But they see me and they can see themselves. You know, like it's easy for the guys, of course, but even the females, like the women in the room, like yo, this is a black dude. He grew up in the same area as I did. Like, yo, if he could do it, I can do it. And I want them to get that. Like, that's what I want. Like for them to be like, yo, he's smart, but he's also street smart. Like he knows how to. He knows what time. It's as simple as that. Like, yo, he knows what time it is. And when my kids see me now, they're like, yo, like, damn, Mr. Brown, like, I want them to be like, yo, I can't even do that because Mr. Brown will be tight. Like, that's what I want them to say.
Like how you felt with your high school coach.
Literally, like, I want them, like, my biggest issue is, like, they curse a lot, so I try to break that out of them.
Yeah.
You know, they get really disrespectful really quick. They have a short, like a fuse. It's a small fuse.
Yeah.
And I tell them, like, as real as I can be, I'm like, listen, you can't, like, get yourself upset over simple stuff. And if you do get upset, you make a move and be confident with that move. And I want them to be like, yo, I can't even do that. Mr. Brown will start. If Mr. Brown saw that, he'd be blacking on me. Like, that's what I want, because they don't always see that in their parents. They don't get they be like, yeah, I curse in front of my mom. Like, she don't even care.
That's why they doing it in front of you.
Exactly. So I'm like, yo, when you see me, when you see a teacher, you need to identify. I need to be respectful because I'm in their presence. So that's all that if I can't do anything else, I want them to be like, not now. Let me hold it down, because so and so, if he was here, he wouldn't be rocking with that.
Yeah, I think, like, have you ever been in it when you say disrespectful, like how do you really control that? Like, do they have to leave the classroom? Is it one of those where you don't want to make them feel like they're getting kicked out because you know how that feels? So where's your judgment call on that situation?
So one of my first conversations, and I do this better now that I'm in my later years, but my first day, when I go through the whole spiel of me being black and how I mention that I'm from the hood and, I'm from where you're from, all that stuff, I tell them, like, listen, I got a few rules. And I tell them, SMD, I'm not even going to say, I'm just leaving it at the SMD.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like, yo, if you ever feel like you're going to tell me the SMD, I want you to get up and just leave. Take your walk, because that to me is the highest form of disrespect.
Yeah.
Living now, like, those are fighting words. People die from those words, right? We hear stories about it all the time. We have friends that have said it, have slipped up, and they in a hospital, or so-and-so moms got shot and this and that. Like, and I tell them, like, listen, I'm a man first. 100% tell them like that. I'm a man first. I'm like, yo, don't get confused because I'm a teacher. I said, I'll let all this go before I let you disrespect me. And they like, yo, it's funny because I be so serious. They be like, oh,
sure.
like, they be like, he's dead ass. Like, damn, like,
they got
right.
They have to.
They have to. And I don't. And what I love about my school too is that they give me that autonomy. They give me that freedom to be like that with them. And I'm like, look, yo, listen, I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all are little bros, little sis to me. Y'all are my, mentees, all that. But don't
respect me.
Ever disrespect me in that sense. Don't curse at me. Don't do none of that, because if we was on the street, I tell them straight up, if you was on the street and you said that to me, we would have to fight, right? Something would have to happen. Whether it be us getting into a physical altercation or some type of confrontation. But if we were on the street,
something would
never get disrespected without retaliation. Like, in that sense, like, that's how I'm living. So And if I was your age, especially, we wouldn't even be on that. I wouldn't even let you get the chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? So
That's just how that goes.
So that's the disrespect. So when it comes to disrespect, I don't send him out to the dean. I might tell him to go take a walk, but what I do is I close the door and we have a talk. That's all we do. We just have a talk. And I asked him, I'm like, yo, are you angry at me right now? Like, I'm real personal with it. I'm like, yo, are you upset with me right now? And they're like, yeah, well, why? And I'm like, yeah, let it out. I'm like, yo, anything you say is not gonna hurt my feelings. I'm like, yo, I've been trained to disregard what you're gonna say. So just let it out. You know what I'm saying? In many ways than none, if those are gonna catch it. I'm like, yo, I'm trained to not respond. Yeah, I've done that. So they like, yo, you, and I'm like, yeah, like, because that's what time we on. And they like,
they need to,
like,
like I said, they need to feel
my
that.
bad. They gotta feel it. The same thing, you have to, because if they don't, they're gonna try to walk over you. Because a kid.
Oh no, not try. They will.
They will, yeah. A student's best ability is to know who's food.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a sensor in their brain, like, oh, he's soft. We're just gonna run all over him. But once you get that through their mind, like, I'm not sending you out to the dean. It's me and you. I'm like, yo, you gonna hit me? Hit me. Like, take that route, and then after you hit me, or if you try, then just be prepared for what happens next. Whatever you take that how you want.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's serious.
Like that. Yeah.
Like, oh, he's serious. Like, oh, okay. So, thankfully, obviously, students have understood, and I've never been put in that situation, but, they'll push your buttons, and I'm all for it. You can push as hard as you want. Like I said, I've been trained to diffuse this situation, and it's gonna go my way all the time.
Yeah, I think what you said is real important, because you understand the difference of being in their situation and showing them how the situation is supposed to go. And that's why the system needs you there.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Because
it's fair. I appreciate it. That's big.
When you do that, you go into the dean's office, and the situation is not going to be handled. It's just going to happen again.
The dean may not. Sometimes you got to be in the situation to know how angry or what should happen. Because you send them to the dean, you can explain it to the dean, but you can't really use the aggression that was thrown at you. So again, it's not always handled. Sometimes they'll have them, take a breath, but they don't understand what they did was wrong. And I asked them too, and I'm very personal, like I said. I'm like, yo, like, do you respect me? I asked them that, like, do you respect me? And they'll be like, yeah, of course. I'm like, nah, because what you did was disrespect. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I'm not feeling that. Like, I'm not really jacking that. And I'll talk just like that. I'll say, yo, I'm not jacking that. And they be like, oh, like, he's really not jacking it. Like, I'm like, nah, that's crazy. I'm not really feeling that. And they get that. It's not like I'm talking to you like, nah, at this point, we on the street now. Like, I'm not jacking it.
Because you done made me step outside the class. You done made me close the door.
Right.
Now we're going to have this talk. There's a reason why I closed the door. So we can have this conversation. So I just have to say big salute to you, bro. I don't know if anyone's been telling you, but we definitely appreciate what you're doing, and we definitely support you. And I hope you're looking back in the forefront of your mind and looking to the next Rashan Brown, because we need somebody to come after you. I don't know if you're thinking about that, but that's something that,
of course.
in my mind, you should definitely be looking to. Appreciate you sitting down with me on the podcast, man.
Yo, appreciate it, man. When you hit me, I'm like, yo, let's do it. I'm with it. 100%. I see what you're doing. I think it's great. I think you're giving everybody a platform to, and connect it with, like, basketball and sports in general. And I know that's right up your field. So I think this is a great platform for people to go out there and get what they need to get out. Because, not everybody has a story. You know what I'm saying? And
100%.
Getting this out right now feels great, because this is just reminding me of the things, like a reassurance, reconfirmation of what I'm doing. I know it's important. And, if you thought it was interesting enough to invite me on to the podcast, and I know, like, it's hitting home in a lot of people. So I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Rob Bruin, Talk That Talk podcast, along my good brother, Rashan Brown. Thank y'all for tuning in.